So it's time to take a look at the Qin Dynasty, and particularly the warriors, and how they ended up conquering essentially the whole of China. So we look at the map here at the Warring States period, when the Qin Dynasty was coming into power. They had to conquer all these other nations. And to figure out how they did this, we're going to look at one of the major conflicts, and that's what took place between the Qin Dynasty and the Zhou Dynasty. So we've simplified this into a picture so we can see what went on in this massive campaign. So the three main players here are the Qin Dynasty, the Zhou Dynasty, and the Han Dynasty. The first thing that happened in this major conflict was the Zhou Dynasty attacked the Han Dynasty. So all the best warriors in Zhou left on this military campaign. Now what do you think Qin did? They attacked the Zhou Dynasty. Because all the best warriors are gone, that's the best time to attack. So the Qin Dynasty very quickly became known for being ruthless in strategy, and they ended up breaking off a large part of the Zhou Dynasty by doing this. So the first thing we can see them doing is being ruthless in strategy. Now the next thing that happened was the Zhou Dynasty experienced two major disasters. The first was an earthquake that caused severe devastation in the land, and the second was a famine. So now that the Zhou Dynasty is severely weakened by these natural events, it would be nice maybe if the Qin Dynasty would, go easy on them. But since they're ruthless, they do not. They attack when the Zhou Dynasty is at its weakest, destroyed by these natural disasters. And again, they break off a huge chunk of the Zhou Dynasty's lands. So we can see here that the Qin Dynasty is not simply just ruthless in strategy, but also amidst disaster. Now, there was still fight left in the Zhou Dynasty. What they did is they started setting up strong defenses, and they had a very gifted commander who was orchestrating these defenses, and no matter how the Qin Dynasty fought, they couldn't break through the defensive line. So instead of trying to fight with brute strength, what they did is they paid someone in the Zhou Dynasty, a high-ranking official, to start spreading rumors about this really gifted defensive general, that he was disloyal, and strangely enough, the emperor of Zhou believed it. And not only did he imprison this very gifted general, but he actually killed him. Now, as soon as the Qin Dynasty got word of this, that this skilled defensive commander was killed, they immediately attacked. And that led to the defeat of the Zhou Dynasty. So we can see that the Qin Dynasty was ruthless not only in strategy and disaster, but also espionage. And they got results. This ruthlessness is what led to them conquering the entire what we understand today as China. And they did it through ruthlessness. They didn't follow any of the pre-described rules of battle. They were just ruthless and brutal, and it got results. But it's important to know, as a warrior, there are times to be ruthless. Now, unfortunately, there's no rule book as to which time to be ruthless and which time to be kind. The ideal is to be both simultaneously. Of course, that's very difficult for us as human beings, but you're going to need a higher level of training to embody both ruthlessness and kindness simultaneously. But it's important to note that being ruthless is not evil. That's very essential, because as a warrior, there are going to be times where you're going to really want to turn up the ruthlessness scale. It's important to understand, though, if you're ruthless, you are sowing that nature into the world around you, and you will then reap it. And if you've noticed, although the Qin Dynasty did conquer what we understand as China, they didn't hold it for very long, because this ruthlessness came back to bite them. So it's essential for you as a warrior to understand ruthlessness is not evil. Just be prepared to reap what you sow.